Hey, what's up, guys? Here on a Sunday, just hanging out, and I've been dying, ever since I got this Ruger LC9, I've been dying to figure out how do I get that firing pin out to clean it. And I just think because the gun is such a small gun, and it's just one of the things I like to do. I like to get in there and clean out the firing pin and get all the oil in there, especially when it's straight from the factory, because the thing is just doused in grease and oil. So, I've been going online, reading up, calling Ruger, trying to find all the pieces I need. And so I got to the point today, I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and try it. Whatever I don't got to improvise on. So, I'm just going to go through the process of taking out the firing pin. The one thing you are going to need is called a roll pin punch. And it's a little different than a regular punch. You know how with a regular punch, it's just straight across, same diameter whole way around, right? So a roll pin punch it comes from fat and then it rolls out skinny and it has a little rounded end. I didn't have one. They're hard to locate. You'd have to get online. I didn't want to go through all that, so I improvised and I made a roll pin punch here. Because all you really need, right, is you need a punch. Something's gonna fit in the roll pin punch that they use that goes from skinny to fat. So what I did was I had these little pick cleaners. And all I did, this is what I needed the pliers for. And I just grabbed it and straightened it out. Then I used the Dremel and just rounded it so it wasn't pointy. And that's my roll pin punch. I also kept this very handy and uses the exploded view. Because as you can see, it's pretty complicated. So, once you get into it, it's not that bad. So I already started taking it out here. So with the firing pin is inside the frame, of course. A little dark. There you go. It's right there. Here you have the firing pin safety fire pin block. So now, and then you got the loaded chamber indicator. Now what the loaded chamber indicator doing, it's holding down the spring. I don't know what they call it. Let's pull out the book again. It's holding out the spring to the firing pin. So here you have the loaded chamber indicator and you have the spring, and then it's like a plunger here, and that holds the firing pin in place from coming out. So you have to take the loaded chamber indicator off, and then you have to take this little spring out, and then the plunger, and then you just hit the firing pin block and the firing pin will come right out. So the most difficult part to get out for me was the rolling pin. And what you got to do is, just like a regular punch as a hole, I'm using a 5mm punch. Won't go in macro. There you go. 5mm punch. And you just get it in there, and it took me a while, and you punch it out. When you punch it out, there's nothing holding it in there, the loaded chamber indicator, and then it just comes right out. And then that comes right off. And then this is a rolling. So here's the difference between a regular punch pin and a rolling pin. See how it has the opening? So when you're putting it back in, you're going to put it in there. Let's see if we get the macro going on again. Oh, it's not working with me. Well, you're just going to stick it in there, in the hole. And then the more you push it in, it gets to the bigger part of my roll pin punch, right? And it tightens it. Then you would just give it a few hits with the hammer and it's going to tighten the pin back. So you got your slide, you got your loaded chamber indicator. Make sure you watch how everything comes out. So that came out like that. We're going to put that to the side. Then we have this little spring here. See if I can get it with my fingers. Can't. There we go. Camera's not working with me today. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras because the battery's dying on this one. Give me a second here. Alright, I'm back. Switch up cameras real quick. So what I wanted to show you was the small pin that you pull out. And that's it right there. And that's holding the pressure down on, see what's the name of some of these things. So got number 37, which is the firing pin blocker spring. And then you got 34, which is the firing pin retainer. So now we're gonna push out the firing pin retainer, which you can't see it, but it's in that dark hole right there. And the way to push it out is you take your push, and on the back of the slide, trying to get it in frame here. See this hole? You're just gonna stick your punch in there and pop it out. And then this is the firing pin retainer. I'm not having problems with this macro too. It's like a little plunger. So that, and that's going in like that. So once you have those two items out, you can now take out the firing pin. Now the way to take out the firing pin, like I said, I just messing around. You know, at first I made my first LC9 video, I made a comment that you had to take the sights off. That's incorrect. You don't have to. You after you take that out, you just depress on the firing pin block, and your firing pin and your firing pin spring comes right out. So it's not as difficult as I thought. However, it's not something that I think I would want to. That's my dog over there sneezing. It's not something that you would want to do constantly because of the pin and the roll pin. Which, where the hell did I go? But yes, this roll pin's, you know, it's a pain, and I think I would suggest that you order some of these. You know, order at least one if you're gonna change it, just in case it doesn't go back in. And I'm gonna find that out now. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean out my firing pin now, and I don't want to make this video too long, so maybe that's another video.